Welcome back. Have you been served and not even realize it? If you're being sued by a credit card company or bank, you may not know until it's too late.
Here to help, you might recognize the Panda guys, Peters and Associates. There's Judah Zakalik. How are you, buddy?
Excellent.
Great
Yourself?
to see you.
Doing very well. So this is a little troubling. If someone's suing me, I might not necessarily know that they're suing me.
Correct.
Great.
Yeah. And it's a little scary, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised how many people come into my office and are getting garnished, their paychecks or their bank accounts have been liened and they didn't even know that they got sued in the first place.
Wow.
How is that possible that that's even legal?
Well, it is legal for a couple of reasons, and most people think that the only way to get served with a lawsuit is if someone comes up to you personally and hands you a paper, right?
That's what you see on TV, yeah.
Exactly. But there's actually multiple ways, right? So if they can't find you, if the plaintiff can't find you, they can actually serve someone at your house who's over 18 years old, who lives there. Okay. That's one way.
Someone at the address, yeah.
Someone at the address. But the third way, and most people don't realize this, is that they can serve you by publication. Right?
The old-fashioned way in the newspaper?
Skywriting. Yes.
Or
in the
online,
newspaper.
or where?
In the newspaper.
Who reads with all due respect,
Right.
who's reading the actual physical newspaper? But that's enough now.
Well, not too many people, right? And no one reads the legal notices section, right?
No.
So that's where they can
Okay, I'm a nerd. I have done that before.
Okay.
But
Small
most people don't do that.
Most people don't do it, and most people don't take the time to do it.
Or know that it's there.
Right,
Yeah.
and most people avoid, scary notices too, right? They don't want to open that bill with the red stamp on it. They don't want to go pick up some certified mail.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, they don't know that they're owing owing creditors money, right? And so if a creditor can't find you, then what they have to do is they have to post this notice in a newspaper once a week for 4 consecutive weeks.
Do they make an effort, though, to try to contact you, a real effort?
I think they do make a real effort, especially before they sue you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, after they sue you, they're going to make an effort to try to serve you because they need to serve you to move along with the lawsuit.
So what does that mean, serve?
Serve means you're put on notice that you're
Okay.
being sued, right? And so that's either by them serving you with the summons, the paper, and the complaint, so you know it.
Does a sheriff usually come out, or who has to serve that summons?
Great question. It can be anyone over 18 years old. Right? So if you have someone hanging around your house, maybe they're waiting to serve you, or someone can come to your job, or they can just find you on the street and say, hey, are you Dow? And you say yes, and now you've been served as long as you've been touched with those papers.
You have to be touched with the papers.
Yeah.
You have to physically touch it. What if you
normally,
run? What if people run?
Some people run and they tell them you've been served and they
Paper
drop the
airplane,
paper.
Yeah.
Right, that kind of thing. But they may want to fight it in court if that happens.
See, you find out you're sued.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's been a default judgment that was made against you because you weren't there to defend yourself.
Correct.
Do you go back to the court and say, wait, I'm here, what can we do?
Right, so you can go back
Yeah.
to the court and try to reopen that case and say, hey, I was never given notice. Now, for the court to give you that default judgment, the plaintiff has to put forth an affidavit, which is essentially a statement under oath that they attempted to sue you or serve you, or that they served you through publication.
Gotcha.
But you can go back to the court and reopen the case, what they call on the merits, to try to defend the action.
Okay.
But a lot of times, people may actually owe this debt, and maybe they wanted to take care of it, but they just didn't know, or they were avoiding it. We see that a lot where people put their head in the sand, and if they don't know about it, it can't hurt them.
Yeah.
But it can, because sooner or later you'll get garnished, and they can take up to 25% of your net.
Let's talk about that garnishing and how it affects your credit, too. So what is garnishing, and how do they do it?
Well, garnishment comes once they have a judgment, and then they bring what's called a writ of garnishment to your employer, and the employer must answer certain questions, and then once the employer responds, then that plaintiff can take 25% of your net income.
That explains why the creditors always ask where you work.
Exactly.
There we
At
go.
the very beginning, right, during the
It all
application.
makes sense now.
Yeah, they want a whole bunch of information on you.
I thought they just liked me. No, they don't.
Well, they like if you pay them interest.
Exactly,
definitely.
they do like that. So then, how do we get that garnishment to be reversed?
Okay, so you get the garnishment reversed perhaps by reopening the case.
Okay.
Or you can settle that dispute with the creditor. Okay, so you can say, hey, look, I know you want to garnish, but how about if we just give you this certain amount of money over this certain amount of time, and perhaps the creditor will take that because it's a bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush kind of thing. Or bankruptcy is an option too. And as soon as you file a bankruptcy, that garnishment or that lien will stop.
Obviously, your credit takes quite the hit, but
Right,
it
but
might
your
be
credit
better.
already took a hit because of the judgment.
Exactly.
And that's terrible on your credit, probably worse than a bankruptcy.
Wow, nothing to lose.
So
at
you've
that
seen this all the time, and can
All
you
the time.
still help people?
Definitely. Definitely. It's best if someone actually will open their mail or answer the creditor's phone calls, because then we can act proactively, right? We can get a better settlement before they get sued, or we can file a bankruptcy before they get garnished. If we wait too long, I can still help them. It's just going to hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
The longer that you hide from it, the worse it's going to
Right.
get.
Yeah, it's not going to get any better.
Okay, so tips for consumers. Obviously, pay your bills in the first place.
Well,
That's
pay your
helpful.
bills, but
Yeah.
for a lot of people, that's not an option. So no one comes in my office really not wanting to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to pay their bills. It's just just something happened in their life and they need
Yeah.
help getting back on track. So pay your bills, but don't dodge the creditor phone calls. You know, understand who's trying to sue you, who's trying to collect money from you.
Generally, if you work in good effort with these creditors, they're willing to work with you.
Well, they're willing to work with you, but they may not give you the best offer.
Of course.
Okay, because they understand that they can scare you, and they're going to do anything and everything to try to scare you into paying them and extract as much money from you as possible. So I would say, you know, go see a lawyer and get free advice. A lot of lawyers will give you a free consultation. We'll do the same, and we'll sit down with you half hour to an hour and explain what your rights are.
Yeah, a lot of these companies use scare tactics, and it works.
A lot of them, right?
Yeah, and you don't know your rights until you've been run over.
Well, and what they don't tell you is, well, first they give you the disclaimer, hey, we're a debt collection company. We're going to say anything to
The
collect
Fair
the
Debt
debt.
Collection Practices Act.
Exactly.
I know that because I was a bill collector for a
Okay,
year.
so you understand
It was
that.
the worst job I had ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I do not suggest it. That said, yeah, you're in a job of trying to intimidate people to pay up.
And once you give that disclaimer, right, you can really say anything.
Pretty much.
And people forget about the disclaimer as soon as it's told to them. So they said, well, you know, this bill collector said I'm going to get arrested, or they're going to come garnish my wages right away. And I said, well, they haven't even sued you, so they can't garnish you.
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty incredible stuff. Where are your offices? We want more information.
Decatur, Flamingo, just one block south of Flamingo on Decatur, 4230 South Decatur.
Awesome. And we can reach out to your office on the phone number or the website.
That's right.
Some good info for us.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to read the newspaper a little more often. Have you been served and don't know what to do next? Let the attorneys at Peters & Associates help you find answers. The Panda Guys are located on South Decatur at Flamingo, and you can learn more. Just give them a call or visit the website listed. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter.